Good evening. Opening announcement. Adequate public notice of this meeting was provided by the Secretary of War on May 17, 2017 to the Home News, Tribune, and the Clerk of the City of Brunswick. Time and location of this meeting and all meetings of this body are posted in City Hall, 78 Byron Street in Brunswick. Roll call.
Mr. Hush. Here. Mrs. Sadowski.
Here.
Mrs. Seawood.
Here.
Mrs. Shukaitis.
Here.
Mrs. Solis.
Here.
Mr. Spencer. Here. Ms. Varela. Mr. Ortiz.
Here.
Dr. Caldwell. We have a quorum.
Thank you. We'll have a flag salute now. Dr. Johnson.
Ready, salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As a reminder, the next regular board education meeting will be held on Tuesday, February 20, 2018, beginning at 7 o'clock p.m. at the New Brunswick High School auditorium. Item number 3 are the minutes for December 19. Can we get a motion and a second to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Hush. Yes. Mrs. Sadowski.
I abstain.
Mrs. Seawood.
Yes.
Mrs. Shukaitis.
Abstain.
Mrs. Solis.
Yes.
Mr. Spencer.
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz.
Yes,
Motion approved.
thank you. Item number 4, Superintendent's Report. Dr. Johnson.
It's on.
It's on. I think it's on. No, they're not on.
Test it.
Now it is, yeah. Mine says, you want to use this one?
Good afternoon. The superintendent report for the month of December 2017, there were a total of 106 district-wide suspensions, 6 HIV, harassment, intimidation, and bullying cases. Our student enrollment was 10,301, student attendance at 95%, and certificated staff attendance at 95%. I would just like to share a letter that I sent to staff in honor and remembrance of Dr. King. Give me a moment. You know, it's been 50 years since Dr. King was assassinated. And although I was probably at the age of 1, of course I do not remember the impact. However, it does not prohibit me or anyone from learning from his teachings. So, just bear with me as I read this. Education must enable a man to become more efficient, to achieve with increasing facility the legitimate goals of his life. Dr. King said this in 1947 during his time at Morehouse College. For me, as a career educator, it's a perspective that I try to keep in mind on a regular basis. Dr. King understood the battle against oppression and bigotry and bigotry couldn't be won solely by marches and the passing of legislation. He knew full well that when people wish to rise up and succeed and see their children and children's children succeed to even a greater degree, they need a strong foundation of education, knowledge, and understanding. Essentially, that's the role of education. In 1963, Dr. King said, "Rarely do we find men who willingly engage in hard, solid thinking. There is an almost universal quest for easy answers and half-baked solutions. Nothing pains some people more than having to think." The central concept within this code is something I find myself sharing with the New Brunswick staff and students on an ongoing basis. Continuous learning and becoming more aware of how our world works is often an extremely difficult undertaking. Yet, it is essential if we wish to achieve success, whether as individuals or as a group. We can never stop or pause in the work that we do. Continuous learning is the gateway to success. In essence, our work in New Brunswick Public Schools is important to the community in which we serve and are crucial drivers towards prosperity and equality. Our charge to prepare, empower, and inspire lifelong learners and leaders will equip everyone to pursue their dreams and goals. Dr. King said in 1960, "If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward." I will continue to be inspired by Dr. King's bold actions, and I believe that many in New Brunswick Public Schools will be as well. We are all servant leaders in our work, and our job is to improve the lives of the students we serve. I end with this quote from Dr. King for us to ponder. Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? I want to thank the New Brunswick school community for your continued desire to improve every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Auburn, for those beautiful words. We all certainly share in your thoughts with Dr. King, and I think we all understand the message that you gave us today. That being said,
Need a motion on this.
yes, I'm going to ask, sir. Can I get a motion in a second to accept the president, superintendent's report?
So moved. Second.
Thank you.
Mr. Hush.
Yes.
Mrs. Sadowski.
Yes.
Mrs. Seawood.
Yes.
Mrs. Shukaitis.
Yes.
Mrs. Solis.
Yes.
Mr. Spencer.
Yes.
Ms. Varela.
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. We go to item number 5, the student representative report. Ms. Padilla.
Good evening, New Brunswick High School. And so today, I would like to give you like an overview about October, November / December. Our student climate has been rather calm. We do have students constantly participating in different things, and we have also started cultural exchange programs, which is a very exciting program right here at our school. In the months of October and November, we have had several colleges visit our school, about more than 20, which is great. All our students had been taking a lot of interest in going to these workshops and really understanding what college was about. We had Princeton come, Rutgers University, Pace University, Keene University, Seton Hall, MSU, St. Peter's, and what's really great is that these students that were back then so interested in these schools are now hearing back from those same schools, which is an amazing feeling to see how the progress is from just shared interest to actually getting into the school that they wanted to get into. It's really great to see that from our seniors. For the months of December and January, our students have started taking acupressure tests, so this tests their abilities in math and reading to see their college readiness. Several universities and colleges do still continue to come to our school, even though certain deadlines have been met. They still continue to show up and give our students a little bit more about college readiness, so beyond the application, what's next? SAT testing does still continue at our school, and our high school play took place December 14th, 15th, and 16th. It was called the Fanatics, and the students were absolutely fantastic. The winter concert took place January 11th, and both the chorus and the orchestra's performances were very, very grand. Law enforcement classes with the New Brunswick Police, Middlesex County Law Enforcement, and our U.S. History 1 students are ongoing. This is a collaborative effort between law enforcement and the high school social studies department, providing opportunities for students to learn about the law, at the same time making connections with law enforcement in the community. I do remember last year they did have a designated hoodie that they gave all the students, and it's very interesting to see that these students still wear, regardless of the year passing, regardless of it being already a year over, these students still continue to wear this apparel and kind of promote the knowledge that they did learn. So that is really great, and to continue extending this program is a very wonderful thing that's going on within our school. The first edition of our school newspaper, the Zebra Tribune, was sent to students and staff on January 7th. In it, we have opinions about cell phones in classrooms. We have poems with certain students that did decide to insert their works of art. We do have opinions of teachers, etc. So it's really interesting to see that student perspective right there. And what's great about that is that it was sent to all student emails. So students could take 5 minutes of their day, check their student email, and just pretty much get in touch with their student body. We also have a magazine called Mad Mags, in which our students were part of. This was a collaborative magazine with students from France, Canada, California, and Denmark, which is great. And our students in that magazine kind of portrayed the diversity within New Brunswick, the culture, the climate here at the school, and they got to tell a little bit about themselves. And this same magazine was shared with those students around the world, which is great. So not only do we learn from others, others learn from us, and that's getting that connection out there is a very wonderful exchange that we have going on here as well. Alumni Day took place January 8th. It was pushed over to this day resulting from the snowstorm that took place the week before. Over 60 alumni came back to visit our school. The alumni spoke with our NBHS avid and played smart students during an informal gathering, provided a wealth of experience, wisdom, insight, and guidance. Our students always look forward to Alumni Day. This year was a lot more selective, so the audience of students that did get to go to this program were students that really showed interest in wanting to go. So you definitely saw the environment, you definitely saw the questions being asked. These kids are interested in knowing how is life at college. Like, are you drowning in schoolwork? Are you not drowning? Like, it's great to see the students' creativity just rise up when you get students that were already went through that process. It's really great to see that like firsthand. We are prepared for our students to begin stamp testing to achieve the seal of biliteracy, so that's also something we have going on. I believe we had a couple of our students complete that test last year as well, so it's good to see that continuing. And we have free English classes for teens at the New Brunswick Free Public Library, which parents and students can sign up for starting January. It does start January 27th and it extends to April 28th. So we did extend this invite to most if not all of our students during announcements, etc. like that. And it's very interesting for our students to actually get that opportunity. To close, it is basically the end of college app season for our seniors, so we're very excited about that. And I am very happy to announce that more than 5 of our students, according to what I know, more than 5 of our students did apply to Princeton University. So that within itself just goes to show that we don't have one student applying, we don't have 2, we have multiple. And these students actually know each other and they collaborate and they talk about this process. So seeing that based off that one university, it's interesting to see how other students talk about their universities as well. So if a lot of students had a couple universities in common, so seeing them talk about that and what they included, what they should include, what they will include next, and how will they prepare for their indicated universities was very interesting to see. So we'll see the answers coming up. But that is all for my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Padilla, for that wonderful and thorough report. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. We move on to item 6, Facilities Committee. Mr. Spencer.
Thank you, Mr. President. We're moving forward on the Paul Robeson School. We had the privilege of actually having our facility meeting in Paul Robeson School. We were impressed with a lot of the work that was being done in the school. We're going to move forward on that, but I can honestly say it's going to be a nice experience for the students and the teachers to go through the school. We're working through various issues with the state, and hopefully some of the things that we have mentioned to them will be addressed in the construction. The other one is the solar project update. The solar project panels, solar panels are very cost effective. Since we've had the solar panels for the years that we've had it, we've made substantial gains in that as far as savings for use and utilities. So it's a good project. Hopefully we'll see some benefits even further as we go on. The Hale Street School, I want to mention that. I know we're bringing it up, I have brought this up in the past couple of meetings, but I think people need to know what exactly the Hale Street School is. I had the opportunity of conversing with Mr. Thomas Hannibal Jennings. He was the brother of Miss Alice Archibald Jennings. As you know, we have a park, a recreation park named after, which is located behind McKinley School. Mr. Jennings mentioned there was a segregated school located on Hale Street between Jersey Avenue and French Street. I took the effort to locate the school through documentations and a picture of the school. Initially, I was unable to determine the exact location of the school. It was through the help of Frank Ladoce, Director of Facility Design and Construction, who uncovered the Hale Street School. The Hale Street School is a residential school presently, house. It is through the collaboration of the New Brunswick Public Schools, City of New Brunswick Public Library, and Rutgers University that will be working together to provide some type of signage and denoting the Hale Street School. This is the history of the Hale Street School. In 1872, the only school in New Brunswick history to be built for African American students was the Hale Street School, not the Nathan Hale School, it was Hale Street School in 1882. The practice of maintaining separate schools for African Americans was terminated. The school was named after Nathan Hale, the martyr spy whose famous last words, "My only regret is that I have but only one life to give for my country." This is a very important project. It may seem like something maybe not important, but it is important. Segregation was the way of the life. And I think by denoting this place, it does put something out there for people to see and understand what existed at that time. So hopefully I'll have more information, and I'm sure the school will prepare all the necessary documentations and ceremonial activities for the event. I want to thank everyone for their cooperation in this Hale Street School project. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Spencer. Move on to item 7, which is the policy committee. The policy committee met last week. We had 7 or 8 mandated policies that were updated, revised, and they were approved, and we added them to the consent agenda items for resolution, which will be voted on tonight. No other activity was done in the policy committee. So moving on, go to athletic committee report. Mr. Hush. Oh, Mr. Dowski will do it.
Thank you, Mr. Ortiz. The athletic committee met earlier this afternoon. Myself, Mr. Spencer, Mr. Hush, and Mr. Ortiz, and our athletic director, Craig Lowry. We had a report on Play It Smart. You know that a 2.0 GPA is mandatory. There were 9 students that were on probation, and the progress reports just came out, and 6 students raised their grades and are now able to play their sport. Martin Luther King Round Ball Classic. It was Trenton, Piscataway, New Brunswick, and Franklin. New Brunswick did not win. The games were very exciting, and hopefully we'll do better next year. Fall season post awards. Felix Herrera from our soccer team was All-State Honorable Mention, and Dylan Johnson was All-Conference First Team, and he is a junior for football, and he already has an offer from Howard University. On February 10th and 11th, we will be hosting the quarterfinal county tournament game for boys basketball. And the girls have not been as successful, but they are playing very, very hard. The NJSIAA opioid use/misuse sign-off sheet. All students that are participating in sports must sign off on opioid education, which we will be offering to all athletes. Most of us on the committee felt that we should be offering opioid education for all students. It's that important. Zebra Invitational Track Meet in the spring will be held on March 31st. There will be 10 to 20 teams and some other individuals that will be taking part. And on February 23rd, we will be having a shot put meet. And so far, the individual track meets that we've had, invitationals for different activities, have been very, very successful. And that is our athletic committee meeting. I think we do need a reconciliation. I do need a motion to accept that.
I have a motion, a second, please. Ms. Jamrow?
Mr. Hush? Yes. Mrs. Sadowski?
Yes.
Mrs. Sealer? Yes. Mrs. Shukaitis?
Yes.
Mrs. Solis?
Yes.
Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Ms. Varela?
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Item number 9 is Curriculum Committee report. The Curriculum Committee met last week. We had no presentations. It was a short month, so we really didn't have anyone present anything. We had about 11 resolutions that we added to our consent agenda for resolution items for tonight's vote. So no other action was taken in the Curriculum Committee. Moving on, I'll go to item number 10. Public Relations Committee, Mrs. Solis.
Thank you, Mr. Ortiz. I would just like to remind everyone that the remainder of the week there will be half days for parent-teacher conferences. We would all like to receive information on upcoming events, anything going on in the schools, concerts, shows, any kind of evening gathering. We are all more than happy to attend. And also, I'm sure I don't speak just for myself, I'd like to receive a copy of the Zebra Times. If we could get that in our email, that'd be very nice. We'd be happy to read that. That concludes my report, Mr. Ortiz.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Solis. Item number 11 is the Educational Service Commission. Mr. Caldwell was in another event today. He cannot be present, so there's no report to give there. And the President's report, I just got a few comments. Number one, I'd like to first say that in our family, the New Brunswick School District, we've had 2 losses. We lost Mr. Bruce Smith, husband of Mrs. Antoine Smith, and we lost Mr. Carmona, Junior Carmona, who was a teacher, I believe, at Livingston? Yeah, Livingston School. And Reshaw, over the holidays. So please give our respects. You know, there's always a sad when we lose family members from our district. And I just wanted to acknowledge, you know, that these were dedicated New Brunswick teachers. Secondly, we started this month, January, for the new year. I would just like to wish all the people out there, all the board members, the district, staff, faculty, Let this be healthy and prosperous, a lot of prosperity this new coming year for all of us. Thank you. Okay, we move on to the consent agenda items. From A to P. Are there any questions? Sorry? Oh, did I miss one? I don't see it, that's fine, it's up here. Oh, public comments. Yeah, I can't see it, it's up here. Okay, any public comments? Please stand up. Put your name and address, please, on the book up there.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Ingrid Mármol y soy la madre de Marjorie Díaz, que va a la escuela de McKinley en el quinto grado. Mi pregunta es, ¿qué se puede hacer con los niños que tienen dislexia? Porque en el distrito no hay un programa calificado y específico para niños con dislexia. Tampoco hay una persona acreditada para partir clases a niños con dislexia. Me preocupa el desarrollo de conocimiento de mi hija, porque tengo 4 años. Tengo 4 años luchando para que ella tenga un programa digno con niños con esa específica discapacidad, podemos decir, ¿no? Y hasta ahora no he visto ningún programa.
Yo creo que nosotros tenemos, no estoy seguro, pero yo creo que nosotros tenemos consejeros que ellos hacen el estudio a ver si un niño tiene dislexia o no.
Sí.
Pero de asegurar.
Sí.
She's asking,
Sí.
what do we have in district for a child that has dyslexia? What services can that child get in the school?
Good evening. We had met with the parent. We were going to train the teachers. However, this dyslexic training is not being held in the state at all at this point in time. We are in the process of solidifying a school for her daughter.
Okay. Lo que ella está diciendo es que nosotros estamos tratando de buscar una maestra que trabaje con su niño con dislexia, pero aparentemente en este momento en el estado completo no están dando entrenamiento para maestros a enseñar dislexia. Pero ella está trabajando con otras personas para ver si pueden conseguir un sitio, una escuela donde el niño puede ir
Sí.
por este distrito.
Sí, sí, porque tengo 4 años en el mismo proceso. Y hasta ahora no tengo ningún tipo de resultado, ni siquiera en las materias de mi hija.
¿Cuántos años tienes su hija?
10.
Okay. She said she's been in this process for the last 4 years, and there has been no results.
It was only brought to our attention last month. Okay, but I will, I will sit and meet with the parent right after the
Okay.
break.
Para no hablar mucho sobre del niño, le pido el favor si usted, cuando terminamos, usted habla con el superintendente o con
Claro
la
que sí.
señora allí y uno de nosotros que estamos aquí que hablamos español.
Por
Podemos
supuesto.
estar ahí y hablar con usted.
Gracias.
También, y a ver si sacamos un resultado ahí, ¿ok?
Sí, sí.
Okay.
Muchas gracias.
Okay.
Buenas noches.
Nada. Is there anyone else?
Good evening, members of the board. I'm Charles Granville. I'm a New Brunswick resident. I'm also the editor of New Brunswick Today, community newspaper here. I'm thrilled to hear that New Brunswick High School has its own newspaper. And, I think that's a really great initiative that I hope to see and hear more from. I have also a constructive suggestion, and I'd like to maybe get in touch with somebody at the middle school about looking into creating a club or a team for the Future Cities competition, which is a really amazing program that I actually had the good fortune of being able to do when I was a student in middle school. Basically, students design a city and create a scale model of the city and a presentation, and then they compete at the regional level. Came full circle for me this past weekend when I got to be a judge in the New Jersey Regional Future City competition at the Rutgers campus, and 80 different teams from middle schools all across the state came, and I was just amazed at the, it gave me hope for the future about how much these kids put into their projects, and it's something that I think New Brunswick Middle School would benefit from. It's something I'd be happy to help with in any way possible to get that going. And so I just was hoping to contact somebody at the middle school about that. Is there somebody here tonight I could get in touch with?
No, I don't think so.
Maybe is Mr. Clifford still the principal there?
Is he here? Mr. Clifford's there if he has time.
Okay, I'll speak to him then if he's the best person to speak to about it. And just wish everybody a happy and healthy New Year. And I do have some suggestions for the Public Relations Committee, but I'll reach out to Ms. Solis on my own for that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Is there anyone else, please?
Yes. Hi, everyone. I just want to talk about mental health. I think mental health is an issue that affects all students, even if they don't struggle with mental illness. So my question is, what is the overall ratio of school counselors to students in the New Brunswick school system? I recently heard that the high school, the Health and Sciences High School, only had one counselor. Is that true?
Huh? Oh, did you sign the book, please? Will you put it
Yeah.
in?
Yeah, I'll do that right now.
Okay, thank you. Your question was that we have one counselor, and is that what we have?
I am asking what the overall ratio of school counselors to students are in the New Brunswick public education system.
Okay, that's information we have to provide to you at a later date because we can't get those numbers right now
Okay.
at this meeting.
Do I provide my email, or what would you like me to do?
You can contact the school, Paul, the office,
Okay.
or the email address is fine.
Okay. Is it also true that there's only one counselor at the Health and Sciences High School?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anyone else? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 14. Consent agenda resolutions A through P. Are there any questions on resolutions A through P? Seeing none, can I have a motion to accept the consent agenda items A through P? Second? Mr. Janaron?
Mr. Hush. Yes. Mrs. Sadowski.
Yes.
Mrs. Seawood.
Yes.
Mrs. Shukaitis.
Yes, abstain on aye.
So noted. Mrs. Solis.
Yes.
Mr. Spencer. Mr. Varela.
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. We move on to item number 15, Finance Committee report. Mrs. Sadowski.
Thank you, Mr. Ortiz. The Finance Committee met earlier this evening, and I need a motion to accept the finance report.
So moved.
Second.
Got Mr. Janaron?
Mr. Hush. Yes. Mrs. Sadowski.
Yes.
Mrs. Seawood.
Yes. Abstain on page 4.
So noted. Mrs. Shukaitis.
Yes, abstain on page 15.
Mrs. Solis.
Yes.
Mr. Spencer.
Yes, if I abstain on page 4 and 12.
Ms. Varela?
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you, sir. I will now read resolution for closed session. Whereas the Open Public Meeting Act, New Jersey, stated 1046, provides that certain matters of the public body may be discussed in closed session, and whereas the Board of Education intends to discuss matters as follows: 1, personnel matters; 2, matters of attorney/client privilege. Now therefore be it resolved that the aforesaid subject shall be discussed in closed session by this Board of Education administrative staff, and the minutes of said closed session discussion will be made available to the public when the reason for the non-disclosure in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act no longer exists. Can I get a motion for closed session?
So moved.
Second. Mr. Cameron?
Mr. Hutch? Yes. Mrs. Sadowski?
Yes.
Mrs. Seawood?
Yes.
Mrs. Shakaitis?
Yes.
Ms. Solis?
Yes.
Mr. Spencer? Yes. Ms. Varela?
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz?
Yes. We will try to, I'm sorry?
Just saying we're in closed session.
Okay. We will try to return as soon as possible. Thank you.